Now, straight away, what I'm noticing in this reading is right in the middle, you've got this Hermit. So it feels like you're very introspective right now. It feels like you're very quiet. It feels like you're quite reflective. And there are a lot of reflective cards in this spread, actually. Lots and lots of very reflective ones. You've got this Ace of Cups, and you've got the Star, you've got the High Priestess. So very reflective reading generally, lots of contemplation. I think for you, you might be the only one that's contemplating things, actually, because I'm seeing lots of voices, or I'm hearing actually lots and lots of different voices around you, lots of people, lots and lots of talking. And so, it's almost like, I just don't feel like talking right now. I just don't feel like being around people right now. And, a lot of people don't see that side of you, and you do have that very, very quiet, very reflective side of you. And so, if you don't feel like talking, you just can't. You just don't. So sometimes you'll be very talkative, and that's the side people see, the kind of light-hearted Sagittarius. But then, I think a lot of you is that quiet side, and you just know, if I don't feel like talking, if I don't feel like being around people, I just can't. I can't force myself. So I think that's how you've been feeling a little bit lately. And you're very good, speaking of rooms and people and talking, you're very, very good at reading a room. You're very good at doing that. So, and you're good at reading people as well. It's a really good skill of yours if that's you. It's like, if there's a mood in a room, you can sense that mood. And if this is you, I don't know if this is you, but I'm just getting this for someone here. I think that goes back to your childhood, actually. You learned how to read a room, I think, from when you're quite young, because, I think, I'm seeing this for someone. It might be that you had to escape a scary situation when you were young. It might be that you were around a difficult atmosphere when you were young, and you had to read that very atmospherically. You had to kind of pick up on things so that, if you're in a situation you weren't happy in, it doesn't have to be violent. It could be emotional, just a difficult situation you're in when you're growing up. And, if you could read the room, if you could read the atmosphere before you actually got into a situation, you can get out quite quickly. And I think if that's you, I think that saved you from a lot of things and a lot of difficult situations you could have gotten yourself into. So it's very sad to have to go through something like that, if that's you, whatever it was, because it feels quite scary. But I think what you got out of that was it set you up to see people and kind of read people that you come in contact with. So I think it's helped you to avoid a lot of bad situations, actually. So I'm getting this quiet side again. I'm getting that around you. I'm getting that around your family. I'm also getting a lot of that around the workplace for you. So if you're in a situation where you're working from home or at work, you're kind of in this mood of, I just really don't feel like going down there and chatting. I just want to stick to myself, and I just want to put my head down, get on with things. I'm really not in the mood. So very contemplative. Okay, so I'll go with this Ace of Cups now, just to tell you what I'm seeing there. Obviously, that's about love. And there's love around you. Yeah, there's love around you. Now, what I'm getting around you is, it's a bit strange. There's love and there's fear at the same time. And I think it's you, actually, that might be a bit afraid of this love. Very strange. It feels like part of you wants love. This is if you're single, obviously. Part of you wants love. And the other part of you thinks, I don't know. I'm a bit cautious. And, if you've got that caution around you, it might be because of how you grew up. It might be because of people that have hurt you in relationships, because you've been through that as well. But you have got that caution around you. And you've got someone around you here that wants to be with you. They want to come closer. But you're a little bit afraid of them. You're a little bit fearful of them. And they're picking that up from you, I think. Yeah, they're picking that up from you, and they're a bit afraid to come forward to you and kind of express themselves to you. And with this High Priestess here, that's just under this Ace of Cups, I'm just looking at that now. Obviously this is a very deep priestess, very spiritual, very deep. And, I think you've been hurt so many times. I think you've been hurt when you've been growing up, if that's you. Also, you've had difficult relationships where you've been hurt. So, I think it's like if I let myself go deep again, you think deeply, you feel deeply, but if you give that depth away to someone else, if you fall and you go deep and you dive down there, the fear, I think, is that you might not come back up again. You'll be stuck down there in the depths and you won't be able to get out. And I think that's happened to you before. I think you've gotten into a past relationship, you really fell very deeply, you fell right down there, and you were down there for a long time. It took you a long time to get over this. You couldn't get back up again. I think that's what the fear is. So, and yeah, you can see this in the whole sequence. You've got this beautiful Ace of Cups right up the top. That's about love wanting to come in. And you can see the flow of that water all kind of coming in, overflowing, actually, coming down, all that water coming down. But then there's that fear of depth. I don't want to drown in this water. What if I'm hurt again? What if I can't get out of this? What if I fall and I keep falling and falling and then I'm out of control? So I've got that coming. I've got that fear. And I think that's what's making you like this man right down the bottom here in the Four of Cups. He's rejecting the cup. The cup's coming from the top there with that Ace of Cups. It's coming all the way down to him, and he's saying no to that because of that fear. And he can't even look at it. He can't even look at the cup. So I think that's what this person's picking up from you, this person who wants to come close to you. Now, what I want to tell you about this person is there's an innocence around them. There's an honesty around them. So I'm not getting any games. I'm not getting any heart here. But really, it's not about whether they're trustworthy or not, because they could be the most trustworthy person in the whole world. But I just think you've got that so much fear around you. It doesn't matter who it is. It's you that really has to work through your fear if you want to be with them or anyone else ever. Obviously, again, this is if you're single. So, okay, so this is what I'm getting. I think they've been feeling that fear coming from you. They've been feeling that, that you're kind of holding back, like this Hanged Man here up in the top center here. So I think they've tried. I think they've tried to be subtle. I think they've tried to talk to you in kind of subtle ways to kind of let you know. But I think now it's just too much for them. I think what's going to happen is they're going to come out and they're going to have a real heart to heart. I'm literally getting those words, heart to heart. They really want to open their heart up to you. They really want to come close to you and talk to you, and they want to get that same thing from you. And that's the fear. That's the fear of yours. It's that fear of opening yourself up, opening your heart up, opening it up to all these horrible things that come in. And so right now you're keeping it closed. But this is what's coming. This is what's coming. They are going to come out and they are going to want to have a heart to heart with you. So I'm just telling you that. So yeah, I think for you, you are going to have to work through this fear that you've got, not just to be with them. It's with anything in your life. I think you've got that stopping you from doing all kinds of things. It stops you from going ahead in things in your career. I think it stops you from taking the plunge and being more like the fool. The fool's not here. So it stops you from doing all these different things that you want to do. But I think the biggest fear is in love and in relationships because you've been hurt so much. So if that's you, and if it is something that's really, really affecting your life, you might have to, do some therapy or do something about that if it's really, really bad. Racing cart sounds like going past. But yeah, you've got to try and do something about that. And I think if you learn to open yourself up, it'll really enhance your life. So yeah, I think when they want this heart to heart with you, I think the best thing for you to do is just be honest with them. Just because they're very honest. So just be open. Just say to them, look, I'm really struggling with opening up. I've been hurt in the past. I'd like to talk to you, but let's take it really slowly. You're going to have to be very patient with me. So, that might be something you want to say. And, again, I'm not telling you to get into a relationship. It might not be. It might be that you don't want to do that. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing there for you if that all resonates with you. Okay, I'm getting something else in this Four of Cups. And yeah, this is what I'm getting here. I don't know if this is you. I don't know if it's someone else. But what I'm getting is, yeah, it's a bit specific. So it's for someone here. it's a really, really strong feeling of protection. It's yeah, this is what I'm getting. Rejection so that you get protection. That's what I'm getting. So, if you've got children, it feels like you said no to someone, or you had to leave someone, or you had to get away, because I'm getting that feeling of escape, having to protect, escaping to protect someone. So if you had to escape a difficult relationship to protect some children, you've done the right thing. You've absolutely done the right thing. Because if you look at the right of this, Four of Cups, you've got the Five of Wands there. And that can be children playing around very freely. And yeah, the thing that strikes me is that they're very, very free. They're just playing around, messing around. They're probably very noisy. There's no structure to what they're doing. They're not being supervised or stopped. So I think that might be what the problem was, because I think you're around this person, and if you had children, if this is you, they were around them, and they were really being stopped, really being kind of stifled from being themselves, playing around like these children in the Five of Wands. And so it's like you couldn't be yourself, they couldn't be themselves. Very, very stressful atmosphere there. And you escaped, you got away. And the other thing with this Five of Wands that's right next to this again, is there are all these people taking action, all these people playing around, and no one's taking the lead. So I think you kind of said to yourself one day, I can't just sit here hoping that I get out of this situation. I can't just sit here hoping that. It's not going to happen by itself. Obviously this person I'm with, this love connection, this ex I'm around, they're not going to do anything. They're fine being in this situation. My children can't do anything, because they're not old enough to take the lead. I have to take the lead. So I think that's what you did. If that's you, you got out of the situation. What I want to tell you is you did the absolute right thing if you were saving some children from a bad atmosphere, and if you were saving yourself from a bad atmosphere. Very, very brave move if that's you. So yeah, they're very, very comfortable now inside themselves, a lot more than they were. They're very uncomfortable around this person that gave them that discomfortable, or this feeling of discomfort, I'm trying to say. But now they're not like that anymore. It might be uncomfortable, as in, it might not be as nice a place that you're living in or something like that. But the atmosphere the feeling that you've made for these children and for yourself, if that's you, it's absolutely beautiful. So much more comfortable for them. And yeah, just like this Five of Wands, they can play around. Maybe they're making lots of noise. Maybe they're just free. They're just free to be themselves. So, and that's down to you, if that's you. So lots and lots of lots of credit to you if that's you, and you've done the absolute right thing. And I wanted to say that to ease someone's mind, because someone's still very worried about whether they've done the right thing. So if that's you, you've done the right thing now. All right, so the first card you've got for your future is this Hanged Man. Okay, I'm getting a few different things. Yeah, I'm getting the same situation again. I know it's specific, but I just want to say this again for someone here who's left a really horrible atmosphere. It might be emotional abuse. It might not be that severe, but it's something where, I'm getting this kind of really walking on eggshells feeling. Again, not being able to be yourself. Again, I'm getting children for someone. They couldn't be themselves, and now they can. So this card, the Hanged Man, can be about sacrifice. Sacrificing one situation to get another thing. So yeah, that's what you've done. You've had to sacrifice. You've had to sacrifice. And you've had to do that to protect yourself and these other people. So yeah, don't feel guilty. Don't feel guilty about leaving this ex if that's what you've done, especially if you've done that to protect children. You've absolutely done the right thing. You just can't live like that if that's you. You've done the right thing. I'm literally getting this for someone. It's like this is what I'm getting in my mind. Going on a long journey, driving long distances, looking out the window. Maybe this is what happened when you left, or maybe it's happening now. Looking out the window, seeing all the images go past, and as that goes past, it's like memories start coming back into your head. You start hearing conversations. You start seeing their face. You start thinking about the life that you'd hoped that you had with this person. And then I think that's when you start questioning whether you've done the right thing. So yeah, if that's you, if you're still questioning, oh, I kind of know I've done the right thing, but I feel a bit guilty, I don't know. This is what I want to show you here. So right next to this Hanged Man on the right, you've got this absolutely beautiful innocent card, the Six of Cups, and there's children on that card. There's a family, beautiful innocent card. Look how happy they are. Look how happy they are. So that's what I want to show you. I want to show you happy children, and they're in that happy atmosphere because you've created that atmosphere for them, if that is you. So yeah, I won't say any more about that because it's a very specific situation, but I feel like I had to say that to someone who was really, really worried about, whether they'd made the right choice or not. Okay, so yeah, I'm looking at this Hermit now. And yeah, I'm looking at the Hermit and the Five of Wands together, actually. They're total opposite of each other. The Five of Wands is like the mass and the chaos and the noise and all that. And obviously the Hermit is the opposite. He's the peace, he's the wisdom, he's by himself. So yeah, I was getting a bit of this before, actually. I was getting a work situation. So at this time, yeah, I think you're getting some time by yourself. You're just putting your head down. You're kind of not really wanting to engage with a lot of people in the workplace right now. Again, a lot of people are working from home, so that's what you're trying to do. But if there are any meetings that come through, I think you're like, oh, I just don't want these meetings. Maybe it's a Zoom meeting and you think, oh, I really don't want to talk to anyone. And it's like, these meetings waste my time. I want to get my work done. I don't want to talk about getting my work done. It's just wasting my time. So, there's that kind of feeling when they want to talk to you, when they want to see your face and all that. When the phone rings, you just want to get on with things. But there's something else I'm getting here with this Hermit and this Five of Wands. And I'm getting lots and lots of mistakes, actually. That's what I'm seeing in the Five of Wands. Lots of mistakes. Not feeling in charge of things, not being in control of things. So I think that's someone you're working with, that they're out of control, they're making mistakes, very out of their depth. And, you're coming up as a Hermit, so you know that. You're very wise. You know what's going on. You don't need to be around people to know that. You know that someone's not up to what they're supposed to be doing. So yeah, I think what's happening here is that they're kind of trying to hide, because if you look at this Five of Wands again, it's a little bit like one of those old hidden object puzzles they used to have where, you had to find the objects. It's all like a mess and you can't find what you're looking for. So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to hide their mistakes behind everyone else. So I just want you to be aware of this. There's a situation coming up around the workplace if this is resonating with you. And I think a lot of these person's mistakes, or this person's mistakes, I should say, I think they're going to be exposed at some time soon. They're going to come out. Now, the message here is, when this all comes out, rise above the drama, rise above what's going on. And if you're asked questions, just be totally honest, just tell them what's happening. But I think the big message here is keep separate from this person, because what they're going to do is they're going to say, oh, but we all made mistakes, and oh, it wasn't just me. They're going to try and deflect, and they're going to try and put the blame on everyone else. That's not fair. So, take a step back from that, rise above that like this Hermit, and be honest. If a boss comes and asks you if there's an investigation or something like that, just be honest and separate yourself from that. If they say, look, does everyone do this? Is it a problem for the team or something like that? Say, no, there's no problem with anyone else in the team. Be totally honest, because I think this person needs to be exposed for doing this. Because if they're struggling, they really should ask someone, but they're not doing that. They're just hiding behind everyone else. They're not leaving. I just feel as if I have to say that. They're not leaving. It's not so big and scary and bad and, and terrible that they're going to lose their job or be fired or leave. There's no tower here. There's no death here. So they're staying on. I don't know whether you're happy about that or not. Maybe not. But they're going to stay there. But yeah, just rise above that. It's all going to come out. and I think they're going to be very cautious about how they go about things in the future. So yeah, I can see why you're wanting to be by yourself with all this kind of chaos that's going on, if that's you.